Book 101 review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She's an award winning educator turned energy coach who helps high performers go from burnout to balance. No other than Miss Carolina Koppany. Welcome, Miss Carolina, Book 101 Review. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Thank you so much, Daniel. Happy Saturday. It's so good to be here with you today. It is a really cloudy day today. And I said, what a good time, right? To be talking about
Mm-hmm.
books and like things in the world. Yeah, I think what's important, actually, that was a horrible statement to say. Nothing is super important. But yeah, because I just realized I was like, that's a weird statement. So I'm going to take that back. No, but thank you so much for having me. Yeah, as I've said, Budapest, Hungary is where I'm originally from. But when I start speaking like this, people usually say, really? You don't sound like you have an accent. And that is because I spent most of my adult years here in the US growing up. And then, yeah, moved in a lot of places. I think that's a fun fact that this is my 27th move in terms of where I am right now. So I always say that I'm about 5 suitcases and 2 passports away from everything. And
Mm-hmm.
people are like, 5 suitcases. Yeah. But yeah, I've had a very interesting career in education. I was in education for almost 17, 18 years. Of course, I started out as a classrooms teacher, but not by choice, but by chance. I was in a marketing role and I actually got an opportunity to substitute for a teacher for a week. And I fell in love with the kids. I fell in love with her when she came back, not in a romantic way, but in a way of just she was so inspiring as a teacher. And that kind of took my trajectory on a very different path. And I was very fortunate to spend many of those adult educational years back in the Bay, like the California, the San Francisco Bay Area, and in Berkeley and Palo Alto. I mean, I don't have to describe that area. It's just like the most innovative place in the world. And I will still say that. And I got infused into different methodologies of teaching. And one of those was social emotional learning. And it was just, I saw kids being so happy while doing so well academically at the same time. And that really inspired me and took me on a different path. That's like I created some programs in classrooms focused on happiness science, got an award here or there for that in there. And then I decided that why should only the US like have or places around the world have these great schools? Why can't my home country of Hungary have one as well? So went back, created a K through 12 school, Hungary's first K through 12 school on social emotional learning. Then 9 months after opening doors, we had to close our doors because COVID happened. And that turned into, for us, actually more of a success because we morphed into a curriculum that we were able to scale and get across to many European countries and schools and is still very successful today. But after that, I came back and taught at higher ed for a little bit and then realized that just working with adults was also something that I really wanted to do. And so now, while not it's been 4 years of coaching, but full time, it's been almost 2 years of coaching. And that's where I am today. And I work with teams as well. And it's really exciting to teach people about energy leadership because I say that energy is the invisible cloak that we wear. You can't see it, but you can sense it. So that's kind of where I am right now today, Daniel.
And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Miss Carolina. And let's talk about the truth about success. Why hustle culture is a new addiction. So let's start with the provocative premise. If hustle culture is an addiction, what is a drug? Is it a success itself, external validation, the business, or something else?
I think that that is a complex question. All right. So that is a
Hmm.
complex question. And for everybody, Daniel, it's probably going to mean something else. For some people, it might be external validation, meaning that I can have all these things in my life, for example, and therefore, what am I showing to the world? That I have achieved X, right? Like for some people. For some people, I believe that, or in my orbit, or how I've seen this, is that the more busy you are, the less you actually have to work on yourself and the less you have to focus on yourself. So if you're always in output mode, which is what I call output mode and like producing mode, where are the moments of stillness and silence and creativity that it can actually lead to just different character and self development? For some people, I think that, power in whatever format is important. Like it is important to have the title, to have the office, to have, I don't know, the private jet, whatever you want, right? Like for some people, it feels something. I do think that hustle culture, if I'm really going to get down to the nitty gritty, I do believe it's a distraction, it's avoidance, it is just, again, this I'm busy and therefore I don't have to focus on kind of the things that really matter. Because when someone tells me that they're busy, I have some weird reactions to it. I'm going to be honest. And it's like, what are you not telling me? But that's my coach mode going on, right? Like that is my coach hat going on. And like when someone tells me they're so busy, what are they trying to tell me? That they don't have time, that they can't engage, that they, yeah, I don't know. It's just a very complex, interesting like question. And I'm always curious about what others have to say about it. But to me, I feel that hustle culture is a distraction. We live in, if you're in the US, we live in a place where the number one consumers in the world, right? Like, so it makes sense that we're doing, so we can take, consume, consume, consume. So I think it's complex. But my main point about this, bottom line, is going to be that it is a way, an avoidance from the things that actually matter in life.
Miss Carolina, what are the key behavioral parallels between a classic substance addiction and what they call hassle addiction?
Yeah, that's interesting. Part of my story is addiction recovery. So I've been in recovery for 2 years. I mean, they both fill voids, right? Like
Hmm.
they both can fill voids. So I know for me, my addiction to alcohol was also something where I didn't want to feel, see, experience certain things. Of course, by the end, it was also about it just became something that consumed my life. And so I was not feeling things that I had to feel. I was not celebrating things that I had to celebrate. I was not engaging with things that I didn't want to engage with. So, in this sense, I mean, and also I've been part of hustle culture. I mean, when I was building a school, when I was building a business, I was part of hustle culture. And it can be that high that you get from doing and from going and from, ooh, this, like this investor came in and the ground is up for the building, woohoo, like those are all little dopamine hits, right? So they are dopamine hits. Addiction as well, like we're trying to as well fill that part of our brain, and so we need those little dopamine hits. I do think that both have a dependence. Of course they're very different, and I think that it would be a little bit extreme for me to get into to how they can similar, but the high that you're chasing and that feeling, that instant I feel something, can both happen from both of them. It's just you got to be very careful because any addiction is not going to lead you a path of success in the long run.
Unlike substance abuse, hustle culture is often celebrated and rewarded by society. How they social reinforcement make this addiction particularly insidious and hard to recognize in oneself?
Just because of what you said, Daniel, right? Like I think that when someone tells you that they're really busy, that they're hardly sleeping, they haven't had enough time with their family, wow, they've used like they don't want to use their PTO, for example, to take some time off even when they know they need it, because we've gotten to the point where we glorify that. Like that is a wow, they're so busy, they're doing so many things. Wow, they must be really successful. Wow, they're really sought out. So we've gotten to a different stage of it. Like we say that that's cool. Kind of what you're saying is that's great. Like go do it. I mean, wow, like the next big promotion, the next big title, the next, the third car. Like that is great. So it's sneaky in a way that you're like they're doing great. You have no idea what's going on underneath that. At the same time, I think when someone is in substance abuse, for example, right? It's like, oh, well, they're just well, I don't know. We don't really talk about it as much. I think it's very hard to talk to someone. I know from my own experience, like my colleagues or even my students or my family members, they weren't comfortable calling out my addiction. They knew something was wrong. A lot of them actually knew what was going on. But it's very hard to call someone out on that and say, "Hey, are you okay? Like, can I help you?" Because unless the addict themselves wants to get better and unless they're ready, there isn't much you can do. Now, when someone is like going 90 miles a minute and is like chasing the next promotion, we almost don't say anything. So I think the two were different in a way. One is glamorized, glorified, accepted, and the other one, while the stigmas are much better actually around addiction in the past couple of years, and we talk about it, we talk about mental health, became very prevalent during COVID as well. And so we're okay. We're getting better with it and being more comfortable with it. I still think that there's a distinction between the two, and one is still a little hush hush, and the other one is go you.
Miss Carolina, how does the constant state of becoming, I'll be happy when I achieve this, prevent us from a simple act of being, what is the cause of living in a perpetual future?
I smiled when you said, I'm going to be happy when, right? So I always say that now is all there ever is. And if you are on a path of trying to become happy. So it's this I'll be happy when X happens. I'll be happy when X is in my bank account. I'll be happy when I find the soulmate. I'll be happy when I'll get into the school. I'll be happy when I get into the big four or one of the Fortune 500s. That is maybe one of the biggest lies that you are ever telling yourself. Because if you need something external to be happy, then there's a lot of what it sounds like to me as inner work that needs to be investigated, because happiness is fleeting and it is something that comes in moments and moments of joy. I mean, joy is one of the greatest emotions, and we can be aspiring for that. And I want to be happy a lot too. But where I'm at my life today is that I'm at peace. And so peace means something very different to me. And that's what I aspire for. It's no longer happiness. Call it aging, call it whatever you want to call it, right? The older you get, the more you can appreciate these things. But I have had a lot of the things. I have had a lot of the titles. I wasn't happier from any of them. I like not at all. Like I wasn't happier from any of them. But I'm happy now when I have a friend to call that I know that is going to pick up the phone and is super happy to talk to me. I'm very happy when I can be of service to someone, and I mentor a lot of students. So when I do that, I'm very happy when one of my clients, after 6 months of searching for a job, gets the job that they want because they're doing the work on themselves. I'm very happy for every day that my mom is healthy. Like these are the things that I'm happy for.
Mhm.
But I'm not happy. I mean, it sounds horrible. When I get the new car, it's good, but I'm not like it's great and I'm happy with it for 3 days. And then I'm like, okay, like it's going to get me to A to B and it's fantastic, but I'm not happy from it. So I just
Mhm.
think that that is a question that you need to ask yourself as to why do you think this is going to make you happier? Why will this do this? And why aren't you happy right now?
Let's talk about identity. When someone's self worth becomes entirely tied to their productivity and output, what happens to them during an inevitable failure of forced post like illness or a layoff?
I mean, I think that depends for everyone, right? I mean, it's not a one size fits all, but if you're in this perpetual state of doing, 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 I mean, number one is what's going to happen is burnout, right? In one way or another, emotional, physical, mental, and in worst case scenario, the answer is D, all of the above. Um, I think that another thing that we have to pay attention to is illness is in my, and just it's just my world, right? Like this is my world. This is not anybody else's world. I always, when I get sick or when something's wrong, I'm going to investigate where is something off in my life. I think a lot of illnesses are tied as well to our emotional well-being and how we're feeling, because it's a signal. Our body's giving us a signal that something is wrong. And like if I have a headache, the first thing I'm not going to do is take a headache pill. I'm going to drink some water because I probably just haven't had enough water. So, just those small hacks. But when you get to the point where there are physical repercussions of your going, that's the moment when most people pause, and it's almost kind of the after moment, because there were signs, you just weren't paying attention to it. And so, most people, even with my work, they come to me when something is really wrong. And my hope would be that before things get wrong, why not address some of those? So, I mean, listen, some people, Daniel, they just love to do. I mean, workaholism is also another ism. It's also an addiction. I've experienced it with many family members, many people close to me, and it's just a part of their identity, which is normal, I guess, for everyone. Your own journey is normal for you. I am grateful that I'm not in that place anymore where my output is tied to what I'm doing, because my goal is just to be someone that is reliable, accountable, people can count on, and someone that I can be of service to. So that being said, I mean, I love my free time. I mean, I love my gym time. Self-care is a huge part of my life. Boundaries are really important to me. And I think if you can have healthy boundaries and have self-care and just have a life that also has different type of meaning than just what you're doing, then I think then you're onto something.
Definitely. And Miss Carolina, as an award-winning educator turned energy coach, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
Well, short-term goals, I think that I have a lot of health goals right now, which are like running a marathon in this spring. What else is there for me? I also want to do a little redecorating of things just this past month. My long-term goal is by next summer, and this is an important one, is to write a book, my first book on what I'm calling the modern dating epidemic. I do think that we are in an epidemic of dating, but it's also because we're trying to date in a world where we're playing tennis with badminton rules, for example. The rules have been written, value systems have completely changed, people's beliefs have changed. Our commitment issues have also changed. Just how we view relationships has really changed. So it's going to be a very interesting book exploring some of the science behind that, some of the brain science behind that, history infused in it, and also with a lot of practical, actionable tips for both men and women on how they can possibly make this process a little bit more smooth sailing. So I'm in that a lot. And just as long as I can stay healthy, Daniel, I'm very happy.
That's the only thing good, Miss Carolina. Be content to yourself and be happy with it. Good luck to your goals and looking forward for more success. And what will be your piece of advice for those people out there want to be a coach like you?
I mean, if there's anything in you where you feel that you you can, if I mean, for what I think is that what I had a unique ability to do, and I don't, this is not clout and this is not me bragging or anything. It's just more of, I think I always had a sense, and my students could tell you this as well, that I always had an ability to just bring out the best in people and to bring out all their strengths that they never saw. And so if you want to be a champion for people, and if you want to make people feel just, a little bit better about themselves, and if you want to just reassure them that, for sure, like, investigate coaching. It's a fantastic profession. It's way more complex than people actually think that it is. But if you have good listening skills and good listening ears, I mean, it might be something to explore. It's the most rewarding thing I've ever done. That's for sure.
The most rewarding. Thank you for that advice, Miss Carolina. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Absolutely. So there's an author, her name is Brianna West, and she writes a lot of books. There was a book that had a big impact on my life, and it was called The Mountain Is You. And it talks a lot about what we were talking today. And it talks about like self-sabotage, how you're the one that's getting in your way. And Yes, there's always a mountain to climb, and then there's going to be another one and another one. But climbing those mountains are going to be the biggest personal development like growth spurts that you're ever going to do. And she's just very inspiring. She keeps it really real. She has a number of other books, but this The Mountain Is You is something that anyone who wants to further their self-development, I would highly recommend it. And it's just it's an easy read too. It's got a lot of practical actionable tips, and it was really profound for me. And she's right, The Mountain Is You, and like everything begins and ends with you. So hope that helps.
Yes, and thank you for that recommended book, Miss Carolina. And looking at the next generation, what are we teaching our children about success and self worth through our own addiction to hustle? Miss Carolina?
Thank you so much.
Yes, so finally, if someone walks away with one fundamental mindset shift to protect themselves from the trap of hustle culture, what would it be?
Very interesting question. Um, maybe just maybe I'm a big question person, right? I'm a big question person. And ask yourself, possibly, as you are always in this output mode and always going, and ask yourself, how does it get any better than this? If the answer is work more, go for it. Like if the answer is go for it. But if there's something that comes up with that question of like, how does it get any better than this? And if maybe you think about more balance there, maybe you think about more time with your family, maybe you would like a more remote lifestyle, a different lifestyle, start following that feeling a little bit. But ask yourself, how does it get any better than this? And if it doesn't, hey, then you're on the path to success for you.
Yes, definitely. For leaders and entrepreneurs listening, what is their responsibility in dismantling hustler culture with their organizations and creating environments where sustainable performance can thrive?
Another good question. So I believe, to me, that the greatest leaders are those that actually lead by their presence. And so, everything is kind of like we do still live in sort of a top down culture. And so everything trickles down. And I believe that if you're a leader and if this is what you're modeling to your team and to your organization, that, we're here at 8 a.m., we're leaving at 10 p.m. or 9 p.m., we're working on weekends, we're constantly responding to things, we're showing the world how busy we are. Because, by the way, I mean, I do believe that 80% of work is literally just showing people that you're alive, and 20% is the actual productivity. Because think about all the time that we're in lunch, we're having breaks. There's so many meetings that I used to sit in that could have been emails. So productivity is really little, actually, if that focused work. So I don't believe in this 12, 14 hours a day kind of work life. So just pay attention to what kind of leader you are and what you're demonstrating to your people. If that's the model that you're showing, then be no surprise that retention, you're going to have people that are leaving, people are going to burn out, people are not going to be satisfied. But if you're someone who models, what it means to be a leader, which is someone who trusts their team, which is someone who has a vision, which is someone who is there when decisions need to be made, who is there to support you when you need it, and is there as someone who inspires the entire organization, you're definitely in the right place. But I do believe that, don't forget, as the leader, you're modeling to people what like you're experiencing. So think about what experience you want to have and what experience your organization should have.
Miss Carolina, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my other podcast, Abstract Essay, is already in fifth season. Abstract Poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too. Comedy 101 second season, and my Food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101, Love Letters, Movie 101 review, Music 101 in its fourth season, Science 101 and Sex 101 in second season, and my baby podcast Law 101, Mental Health 101, and Bible Verses 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Carolina, Tell us, what does the rest and true unproductive leisure play in not just preventing burnout, but fostering a genuine creativity and long term success that hustle can never achieve?
I mean, you just said it, Daniel. I mean, what it actually does is those moments of what we call boredom are the ones that are actually leading to, probably for me in my life, I know the most creative like experiences afterwards. We need those moments of stillness. We need those moments of pause. We need time to process what we're thinking and what we're feeling. And if you don't believe that, then just try it for a little bit, right? Like try it, because you don't know what you don't know. But I think that those moments of quiet peace and stillness and boredom are truly what lead to what we need to uncover and what we need to be doing in life. I've been writing for a while, but I got back to it more now. And I think if I hadn't had those moments of stillness and silence, I wouldn't have been convinced that actually that's what I need to be doing with the next part of my life as well. And so, because writing is what helps me find my voice, and coaching is what helps other people find their voice. So it's a beautiful balance in my life. But we need that, because that's when we can be creative, and there's so much studies and research that backs this up. And if you look at how children develop, for example, they as well also need those moments of being alone and quote unquote being bored, because that's where you can actually just learn so much more about life than through other interactions.
Miss Carolina Koppany, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your coaching, your advocacy, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Oh yeah, I mean, if you want to check out, my website is there, so carolinakoppany.com. All my blogs are there, and on my Substack, you can also follow me for really raw, intimate, cool writing pieces.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Carolina Koppany, because if you support her, for sure, more and more empowering coaching will rise. So, Miss Carolina, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Daniel. It was great to be here with you and the listeners on this Saturday.
Maricon people, see you soon.